Today I'm going to kick off the series of showing you how I'm creating Paul his own little workspace in the garage. First thing I wanted to create was a DIY workbench for him. For the workbench base, I'm going to use 5 2x4x8s, 4 lockable casters, 2.5-inch wood screws, a power drill with a wood screw tip that's provided in the box, and then my handsaw. I'll provide my cut list down below for you guys, but I cut out 4 46-inch pieces, 4 32-inch pieces, and 4 21-inch pieces. After I cut all those pieces down, I did take my sander and just sand off all the rough edges with an 80 grit sandpaper. Callie was extra cuddly today. She literally would come over and put her paw on me and just stare at me for love and affection, which I don't really mind, but make sure you're moving all your animals out of the way when you're using your power tools. After those were sanded down, I grabbed 2 46-inch pieces and 2 21-inch pieces, and this is going to be the top of your table and the bottom of your table. I put 2 screws in every corner attaching the 21-inch piece to the 46. I measured the inside because I needed to put a support beam because you're going to want to add a table top. So I just measured the middle, cut a piece, shimmied it in, and screwed it together when I found the center. Repeat that to the second one, and now we are finished with these guys, and we're going to move on to adding the legs. So you want to grab your 32-inch pieces and lay them flat up against the corner facing out, or you can even screw them in on the outside. I just wanted to do it on the inside, so I put 4 screws into each corner. Flip the tabletop on its side, make sure you have some clamps handy, and shimmy those legs into the other corners of the bottom. There you have it. You have your workbench base. The little frame is good to go. You can top this with plywood and you'll be done, or you can take it a step further like I'm about to, and I'm going to attempt a chevron or geometric tabletop. I just took some scrap wood that I had on hand and I cut it down to size, and then I cut the tips at a 45-degree angle and connected 2 pieces along that middle beam that we cut earlier and shimmied in. You can hammer this in, but you guys know that I got a brad nailer, so I just brad nailed those into the beams around it to make sure that it was secured down. Once I had those top pieces down, I just followed suit all the way down with the remaining wood, and I added some wood glue to the tabletop just to give it a little bit more security. You guys know that I never lie to you, and this tabletop was so hard. It was my first time cutting 45-degree angles and trying to connect the pieces and make them seamless. Had a ton of gaps and uneven spaces, and they didn't line up, but I just pushed through and I added the scrap pieces onto the end. I literally cut down the smallest pieces of wood to shimmy them into place if there was a hole, and at the end of the day, I wasn't mad at the tabletop for it being my first time. I definitely would suggest like a chalk line when making these lines, because using that big ruler didn't really do me any good because I had to go back and trim the excess off repeatedly. Creating that tabletop for the first time was so exhausting, I couldn't imagine doing it another time, so I just took a different approach to the bottom half of the table. For all my skaters that are watching, Paul was going to throw these away and I kept them on hand, so please don't come after me, and I know your heart's going to break when I tell you what I'm about to do. To really make it his designated skate table, I wanted to make it known, so I cut these guys down so the curved edge was off, and I lined them up like appropriately to the space of the bottom and added scrap wood pieces in between to really fill it out. I told you Callie was just in a mood, and she really was. She was interrupting any part of the process, but I didn't mind it because y'all know I'm super obsessed with her. As you saw, I laid wood glue down before I brad nailed those into the beams on the bottom, and then I just filled, again, the negative space with scrap pieces of wood that I cut down to size.
Step back a little bit. Sit. Stay safe, please.
Screw your casters into the bottom of your table so that it can roll, and you are done with your workbench. I did fill my mistakes with some wood filler and I sanded it down, and then now you just push it up against the wall that you want, lock it in place so it doesn't move, and then I'm going to add some extra storage. Had these shoe racks on hand and I spray painted it white. It needs another coat, but then I just slid in his trucks. I put his grip tape up top, and then below I put some storage bins with all his stickers and bearings and whatnot. Now, since adding this storage, it's a one-stop shop for him to change his board or do whatever he needs because his tools are right there beneath him where he's working. I hope that you guys enjoyed this DIY workbench in part 1 of Paul's little skate shop makeover in the garage. I have a couple more videos releasing on the series and then a tour of everything going into all the details, so stay tuned. Thank you so much for all your support. I will see you Wednesday with another DIY.